Welcome back. Oh, by the way, a bit of breaking news. A plane carrying American Secretary of Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was forced to make an emergency landing here in Britain, in the United Kingdom, due to a cracked wind shield in his the plane he was flying in. Apparently, he's been at a meeting in Belgium. And was flying back to the States, but had to emergency land here because there was a crack in the aeroplane's windscreen. So Pentagon spokesperson Sean Parnell wrote on social media that on the way back to the US after the NATO defence ministers meeting in Belgium, the plane made an unscheduled landing in the United Kingdom because of a crack in the aircraft's windshield. Also, he said, also known as a windscreen. You don't say, really? Anyway, Pete is alive, well and safe here in Britain. Welcome, Pete. Let's go back to Isabel Oakeshott, Talks International editor. As I said before the break, extraordinary poll. I mean, we seem to get one of these like once a week, once every 2 weeks now. Always on the basis of if we had an election tomorrow. Well, if we had an election tomorrow, according to this latest poll, it would sweep Nigel Farage and Reform to power with the biggest parliamentary majority in Westminster history, the biggest ever majority. They would win a staggering 445 seats, with Labour reduced to just 73 MPs and the poor old Tories down to just 7. The Tories, according to this poll, would have even fewer MPs than Corbyn's Your Party, which is predicted to gain 13 seats. But, you know, Starmer and the establishment gang, they can keep trying to talk Farage's party down, racists, fascists. They can try this as long as they like. But it seems to me that while Starmer and the gang try and use their favourite socialist put-down, no, you're fascists, you're racists, they're not talking to the people. And Nigel Farage and his team clearly are. Something's going on here, isn't it?
Oh, undoubtedly so. I mean, the more they use that kind of language, I don't understand how they don't realise this. The more Reform's poll ratings just go up because it's just so insulting to the intelligence and basic decency of so many people in our country. One thing about this poll is the date in which the research was carried out, and it was actually carried out just after Reform's party conference. So just to inject a little bit of caution in it, you would certainly expect a party that had a good conference to have a bit of an uptick in a survey like this. And it was carried out before Labour had its conference and before Kemi Badenoch had what was generally seen as a sort of successful conference as far as you could expect from a dying party. So, you know, if that poll was carried out again today, it might be slightly different, but it is so dramatic that I can't imagine that the calculations would be sizably different to what we see there. So it is something quite extraordinary that's happened. I don't think anyone anymore doubts that the era of Labour and the Conservatives just passing power back and forth between them, with all other parties acting like little piggy in the middle, unable to ever catch the ball. I don't think anyone is now saying that is going to continue. Reform, as things look at the moment, has fundamentally changed the UK political landscape, I believe, in a lasting way. You know, I spend probably an unhealthy amount of time thinking, how could Reform mess this up so badly that we just revert to the old scenario of Labour and the Tories? And I do find it hard to imagine how it could go that badly wrong for Nigel Farage's party. That said, political predicting is a mug's game. Yeah. 3 years out.
And when push comes to shove, when we get nearer the election date, hopefully it will be before 29, but you never know. But as we get nearer, things will get closer. That said, the only thing you talked about, the weird Tory conference that hardly anybody went to, and you talk about the Labour conference. The only thing that both leaders achieved, so Keir Starmer with all his fascist and racist talk. What he did is he shored up his support in the Labour Party. He's preached to the lefties, the left-wing backbenchers, the left-wing section of the party, and was generally regarded to have emerged from that conference stronger as a Labour leader. He didn't talk to the people. The people of this country didn't like him anymore. In fact, they probably liked him even less, particularly since, in effect, he branded all Reform supporters as racists, so that wasn't a great move. Kemi Badenoch, same story in Manchester. She didn't really speak to the people, but she shored up her support in the Tory party. So yes, they did okay internally, but neither of these people are speaking to the people of this country. And I think, a la what we were talking about earlier in the show about the migrant crisis, they hear Shabana Mahmood, Labour, going, oh, you know, we're going to make sure that people who come to the country can speak English to an A-level standard. You know, and people go, what? And you go, and you get Kemi Badenoch. Yeah, well, you know, we're going to have net zero, but we're not going to have it, you know, like, as stringent. It's not as tough as with Labour. We still have it, mind you. And people just go, oh, shut up. Shut up. And they go, you know, what they go to about Labour and on the migrant crisis, they go, then they hear Nigel Farage basically say, well, what we'll do is everybody who turns up here illegally, we'll deport them immediately. We'll deport all these asylum seekers. We'll clean the country up, turn the boats around, maybe, whatever. You know, he says, we're going to do some tough stuff. We're going to completely abandon what he calls net zero stupid. We're going to get rid of all that green claptrap. And the people of this country go, yeah, that's what we want to hear. We want to hear firm resolve. A man with a plan. Neither Starmer nor Badenoch have really got a plan. They are hamstrung by Westminster caution and a kind of addiction to human rights and green claptrap. And the people of this country have had enough. That's why I think Reform do so well in these polls, and I think will continue to do so.
That's right. Now, of course, what those other parties, what Labour and the Tories will say is, oh, well, you know, we heard this actually from Keir Starmer in his conference speech. You know, this is just someone selling, what is it, a snake oil seller or whatever it is he called.
Snake oil salesman.
Snake oil salesman. So the attack, the line of attack that they'll adopt is, well, Reform's just offering things that they can't deliver. And that's the key word there, can't, because our traditional establishment parties have been all too quick to say things like, we'll do everything in our power to deport foreign criminals. What Reform is saying is, no, we're actually going to change our powers so that we have the power to say, we're just going to deport them.
We will just do it. Same thing, you know, now Rachel Reeves, Rachel from Accounts. Oh, by the way, I've been lying. I am going to put your taxes up. But it's Brexit's fault.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you know, really, Rachel, do you think anyone's going to buy that? It is so desperate.
It's so desperate, but it's sort of all they've got, really, to say it's Brexit's fault. And how can it be when you look? I've been looking at the economic outlook. I think the IMF has just published new data with projections for 26, 27. And, you know, the UK is doing better than Euro countries, better than France, better than Germany. So how can they say, well, it's all down to Brexit? It doesn't make any sense at all.
I know. I don't know if you had Prime Minister's questions today, but there's a growing sort of sense that this Labour, as they're called, they're just lying. You know, Starmer was clearly lying through his teeth about the Chinese spy trial. You know, they weren't. Jonathan Powell was not substantively involved. Oh, so he was involved then.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, who do they think they're kidding?
I genuinely think these people are delusional, you know, that there's something wrong with them. You know, just going back to the international summit today of Balkan leaders and Shabana Mahmood. I mean, as an example of the power of international cooperation, they literally cited the one in, one out policy, which currently stands at 26 out, 2,885 in.
Yeah, and
I mean, are you kidding me?
And since Starmer, by the way, they've been coming over in fairly small numbers, but they've continued to cross the channel day in, day out. Last couple of days, more coming across. The number that since Starmer took control of this country is approaching 60,000. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It is out of control, and they're not doing anything about it. They have no plans to do anything about it, except for ridiculous international summits, which, as I said, like all the other ones, will achieve nothing. Isabel, fantastic week. Thank you again. We'll talk next weekend. That's Isabel Oakeshott.